What's going on, guys? I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining. Um, this is kind of like an introduction video. I haven't been on YouTube before. Um, my wife has a YouTube channel, and, I help her out and film stuff with her. But I also have an interesting life, I think, maybe. Hopefully, I can connect with more people. I don't really have many car friends out here, and I'm just kind of enjoying my build, and I hope that you guys would enjoy the build too. So I bought a 1993 Honda Civic Del Sol SI. I got it for a good deal. I paid $1,700 for it. It has a pretty clean body. Had a little tiny bit of rust in the rear quarter. I'll show you here in a minute. And it's kind of like a good car, I guess, to start a full build on for myself. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not super knowledgeable about vehicles, but I really have a passion for cars. I've done motor swaps, but I've never actually have been to the inside of a motor. I've replaced head gaskets, never put a piston in, never put valves in. Don't necessarily quite understand yet the mathematics behind building a motor. Um, I would say very basic knowledge. I'm pretty good at diagnosing a car, but I'm hoping that along this journey I will be able to learn a lot. We have a lot of cool things coming up. Here in about a week or so, April 15th actually, I'm going to be bringing my Del Sol to finally get painted. We're going to paint the engine bay, underbody, interior, trunk, exterior. So I'm pretty excited about that. Kind of debating on what to paint the engine bay. I think I'm going to do kind of like a military green exterior, carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber trunk. Um, I really like the military green. Like bronze wheels, I think look really nice on that style. But yeah. So kind of diving into the details, I found this Del Sol on Marketplace, and it looked pretty clean. Ran really good, and I went and looked at it. The body didn't have like the rocker panel rust or um, yeah, I mean it was just a clean overall car. So I had interest in purchasing it. So I got it. My wife and I we came home that day and we took it out, and I remember this day really well. We took it out. We went to a restaurant together in it. It was like super fun. The same day that we bought it, I parked it outside. I didn't get a garage yet for it. That was my next step. Because the place that I live was closed, and so I couldn't get the garage the same day I bought it, and because they were already closed. But after, I just left it outside. I'm like, all right, it should be fine for one night. So I woke up in the morning, car was still there, took it out, came back, got some gas in it, parked it. It's probably like 10 a.m. Next thing you know, my wife was like, woke up, came out, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you weren't here." I said, "No, I came back," and she's like, "I thought heard your car." So I go out to I go out to the parking lot, and my car is gone. It got stolen literally the next day after I bought this car. So we reported it. Man, I was so bummed. I spent a lot of time looking for Del Sol. A lot of them were really expensive, at least expensive in my eyes at the time. Like $4,000, $5,000 in my area. And I found a really good deal on one, and finally got it. And I'm like, all right, this is a car I'm going to start building. Well, I was pretty bummed. A few weeks later, wife and I don't remember what we were talking about, but I got a phone call, and It was the police department. I live in Colorado. I live like northeast Colorado, but still like maybe, I don't know, good hour from Wyoming. And they pulled someone over for speeding, and it was my car. They ran the VIN number, called me, contacted me right away. They said, all right, well, we have a tow truck coming. We're going to impound it, this and that. And I'm just thinking like, damn, I haven't even had a chance to put the title in my name yet. Don't have insurance on it. But thankfully they found it. Don't really have the money to pay impound fees or pay the tow truck driver. You know, it just kind of stacks up. And luckily I was like, dude, officer, like, if I leave my house right now, will you just keep the car there? And he's like, I said, I'm like 45 to an hour away from there. I said, I can literally get my car and head that way. So he was like, well, if you beat the tow truck driver, you know, it's fine. You know, just bring proof that you are the owner. Just bring an ID is fine. So, dude, I mean, we were flying there. Like, it was crazy. We got there before the tow truck, thankfully, thank God, and showed him my ID. And I got to drive the car home that night. And my next thought is like, man, the ignition's probably screwed up, and he probably beat the hell out of it. And I wonder what other problems I'm going to have to deal with. And then, well, I actually, let me see if I got it. Actually, I think it's in the house. But, yeah, so essentially the guy was in the car and he made his own key for the car. Didn't bust the ignition, didn't jam a key in there, nothing. And it's actually still the key that I'm using today, which is kind of funny. Then I got in the car and I had to drive this Del Sol that, you know, it's a pretty old car and just got stolen. So I had to drive it, you know, an hour, 45 minutes or so back to our house. And it ran literally better than when I bought it. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. So, yeah, this car's been stolen the first day I got it. No insurance, nothing. I was super scared. And then I'm like, okay. So I went down to, I live close to K-Series parts, and went down there, picked up a steering wheel, like NRG quick release, and then got like the steering wheel lock hub on it and stuff. And let's start driving it around, got it to pass emissions, and I've been just kind of like thinking about like, what do I want to do with this car? And the first thing I wanted to do was I've always dreamed of owning a right-hand drive car. So I knew 100% that I wanted to make it right-hand drive, and wasn't really sure how to do that. You know, there are some videos on YouTube I started watching, and there's quite a bit of it's very labor intensive. I haven't taken a car apart this much, and I'm like thinking like, well, if I take everything out of this car, how the heck am I going to remember putting it back together? So I started doing, I started looking for right-hand drive conversions to purchase. And they're like super hard to find for Del Sols. Del Sols are getting pretty rare nowadays, I feel like. And so I called HMO Motors, or I think it's HMO Motors online. They're out of California. I was like, hey, you got any right-hand drive? You got, where can I get this conversion kit? They're like, well, we'll call you and let you know, when we get a kit in. And it turned into like months and months of searching, and I was just like, probably never gonna find it. But so I'm just gonna kind of just keep moving on. So I went and I got a bunch of like cheap Amazon mods, and I got Raceland coilovers, and started just putting this thing together for fun. It's actually a salvage title. Someone backed in. The previous owner, someone backed into the driver's side door, and just replacing the door totaled out the car from the value. So I went to the junkyard. I found a Del Sol there, and got some black doors. My car's Samba green. Didn't match at all, but they were good condition. Didn't really know how to do body work or really anything. So started replacing the doors and replaced one of the fenders, and just very minor stuff to just kind of get the car looking straight, I guess, like in the body. I mean, it was really just the doors and fenders. And then, put the Raceland coilovers on. And then I was like, okay, I want to try some wiring. Wiring, scares me a lot. So I watched some videos, tried to learn how to do a wire tuck. And I'm like, I'm just going to focus on getting this engine bay as clean as possible. And the paint's pretty good on the engine bay. So I took the AC out, I took the power steering out, started doing the wire tuck, started taking apart the dash. And I was like, man, this really isn't too bad. Got all the wires extended, ran all the wires. And then I was just like, man, starts with a wire tuck. And then it's like, oh, I should probably actually get a good suspension. So let me take the suspension apart. And then like, man, what else can I do? And it just keeps building up. So I took the suspension back apart, started doing the wire tuck. And this is like, mind you guys, like this is like 2.5 years after I'd purchased the car. Like I just drove the car with like a steering wheel, replaced a door, and that's pretty much it. And then I started like thinking about doing more to it, making it just a clean single cam, put headers on it, fixed all the oil leaks, did the timing belt, just very like, I don't know, maintenance-y stuff. And then it hit me like, well, I'm on a group in Facebook, and I saw a post in one of the Del Sol things. Someone better buy this before it's gone. This just came in, and it was a right-hand drive conversion. And I was like, oh shit. And now, I mean, dude, the just the conversion itself costed more than the car. I paid $1,700 for the car. Right-hand drive conversion cost $1,800 plus like $595 for shipping. And I'm just like, man, I only have one chance to make this right. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. So I ordered it. Took a few weeks to get in. I met a friend who owned an auto body shop at a bar one night. His name's Fernando. He owns New Image Performance. Check him out on TikTok. I'll drop it like right there. New Image Performance. He does amazing paint work. He does a lot of custom like sunroofs and vehicles and stuff. Fernando's very skilled at what he does. And so I started hanging out with him and started working on cars with him, helping him in the shop, and just like, I don't know, just building a relationship and stuff. And he told me I could like have the conversion delivered there, and he would help me with it and everything. And so I brought my car to the shop, parked it there, and then I was just like, okay, well, I gotta take everything pretty much out of the car to do this swap. So I might as well start building my car now. And it hasn't been plated for a little over 1.5 years now. So I'm kind of just taking my time with it. I'm really wanting to get more serious about this vehicle, which is why now I want to share my experiences and the struggles that I have while on this journey. And I would love to learn from you guys as well. If anybody has anything that they can correct me on or just kind of help me, I'm not going to say everything that I'm doing is the right way by any means. This is my first actual full build that I've ever done. So, but let me show you as it sits. I've spent the last few years, so total since I purchased the car, really dialing down what I want to do with this build. And I finally got it. The right-hand drive swap is already done. I do have some video clips. I might just put like a montage together. It was very complicated. I think the second time around would be a lot easier. But I kind of took my time with it. It took me a few weeks just to get the firewall out of the front half of the Del Sol from Japan. And so I got that done already. The firewall's in. It seems like everything's lining up. The dashboard lines up. Subframe lines up. So I'm pretty thankful for that. That was like a big relief. I was really nervous about that. And but so I narrowed down, okay, I want right-hand drive. That's checked off the list. That was like the biggest headache that I had on my mind. Now what motor do I want to do? Well, I ended up getting a K24A2. And I'm really not sure if I want to do an NA build or if I want to do a boosted build. Boosted's going to be great. I love turbos, but also there's like something. There's also just something about a naturally aspirated. I feel is more reliable, maybe easier to pass emissions and get plated. That's for sure. And I've seen people put down about 300 horsepower on them, or should I just go big? So maybe you guys can help me out with that. If you want to like leave a comment, with your opinions on NA versus boosted builds. I would love to drive this on the street. It's by any means, this car is not a daily driver for me. I have a 2015 Civic, and then I have a 2016 IS 300 that my wife and I drive. So I want to bring this out to like car shows. I really want to track it, like road course. I want to get into road course, and so I'm just really unsure about what I want to do, whether I want to do a naturally aspirated or boosted motor. So I would really appreciate if you guys could leave me some feedback and your opinions. Now, so I know what motor I want. I got it. Excuse me. The second thing is I was like, man, I would really love to have all-wheel drive. So I found, took me a few months, but I found a CRV trans. I found the rear diff, and I found the transfer case. And that was, luckily it was pretty close to me. It was like 30 minutes away. And then the guy who sold me the K24A2 out of the TSX, he actually delivered the motor, which was super nice of him. And then the next thing I had to find was a Freelander drive shaft. Man, so I went on Marketplace, and I found this dude on Marketplace, and he has like this junkyard at his house. He's a super cool dude, man. He's got a lot of cars that he just like parts out. And I messaged him, I'm like, hey, by any chance, like, do you have like a Freelander? And he's like, actually, yeah, I do. I said, dude, does it have the drive shaft? He's like, let me go check. So he checked, and he's like, dude, if you want the drive shaft, just give me like $40. And I'm like, what? Granted, this dude lived like 3.5 hours away from me. He lived in Grand Junction. So I had to drive all the way out to Grand Junction from like Boulder area. And it was kind of a long day because when we showed up there, I texted him. I was like, okay, I'll give you $100 if you just pull it. I didn't want to like deal with pulling it or anything. And so my wife and I made the trip out there, got the drive shaft, put it in the car. And then on our way back, there was a car accident on I-70, which there always is. And then I guess someone passed away, so they had to shut the highway down. So then I had to like go up past like Loveland Pass, and like it was like hours of traffic. So it ended up being like a full day journey, I guess, because I mean we were almost in Utah. But it was cool, I love driving through the mountains. Wife and I got to get some food and just chill and see some pretty sights driving on I-70. And so I got the transmission, I got the drive shaft, I got right-hand drive swap, I got the K24A2. now I am ready to start kind of piecing it together. The first thing is I'm going to do paint. Well, I'm personally not going to paint it, but my friend is going to paint it at New Image Performance, and that will be the next video. So let me show you the car and go from there. All right, so here is where she's at. So, but we're trying to shave the bay. I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, but that's all panel bond. I trust Fernando, so we're just gonna see how it turns out on the next video, actually. But yeah, so just kind of shaving everything, prepping the engine bay. Took the core support off. I don't think I'm gonna run core support at all. I'm just gonna block these off, put a weight plate down. But I mean, as you see, like there's honestly, I mean, it's a pretty clean car. Obviously, it's not clean like a nice car right this second, because obviously, you know, it's in the state that it's in, right? So, but yeah, so this is the firewall. I tried my best to take out the spot welds, but man, it was very complex. So we just kind of cut it out all the way through here. Trying to get you a good angle here. You can see up underneath. All the way around, up, over. Cut it there. See where it's welded right here, all the way through. So gotta finish this up here, probably hammer this up, get another weld in there, but all the body work's gonna be finished here in a couple weeks. I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna move this chassis, because it has no suspension. I'm thinking about like taking like these guys, like these rollers, put one down here, put one down there, one in the back corner, and then one in the back corner, and take some ratchet straps all the way around the chassis to hold it onto the bottom of the chassis and rolling it that way. I don't think it weighs too much, so I think it should be all right. But yeah, so this is the car. I'll post some photos of the car that I like, what it looked like before. See, look at that, right-hand drive. I'm so excited, super excited. Took the gas tank out. We're shaving the gas tank because I'm gonna have a fuel cell in the back. So yeah, this is she. I don't have a name for her yet. If you guys have any suggestions of names, I'm very open to it. But there's the target top. So all the doors and like body panels. So I have a second garage, like on the other side. All the majority of the parts are in there. I try to keep this garage like pretty spacious and open, and very little parts in here, so that I can just kind of work on like one thing at a time. So we'll dive into the other garage pretty soon. I gotta get it cleaned up. They have all the other shelving over there, so I can hang those up. Here's the motor. Don't know how many miles are on it. He said it came out of a running car. Seemed like a pretty trustworthy guy. Haven't had a chance to really break it open or anything. But I just started breaking the motor down. So I took the intake off, the exhaust, so on and so forth. So, must have lost my little cap. Transfer case and my rear diff. And then the last part that I got was my all-wheel drive trans And the same guy that had the rear diff, I bought, or the transfer case, I bought a oil pan from him. So, I mean, everything's pretty much completely stripped out of this car. Oops. Uh-oh. So, well, that's not stripped out, so I gotta strip that out. But you get the point of it, get the gist of it. I would thank you guys for tuning in. I will be posting more videos. I'm really into business, so I'll probably do some business stuff, and I like golfing, so I'll probably do some golfing stuff. But my biggest passion right now, and has been, is cars. So majority of my content's going to be this project, and then I want to build a drift car next, for sure. So I just got to get through this build, make sure everything's right on it, get it running, and then we'll move on to the next car. So if you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out. Love to hear your guys' opinion on NA versus boosted cars and what I should name her. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys have a great day. Until next time, I will see you guys soon.